She was the head of Honnouji Academy. But what is the life story of Satsuki Kiryuin? Total Trekkie is pleased to present to you Kill la Kill Lore, Episode 1, The Life of Satsuki Kiryuin. Satsuki was born as the firstborn daughter of Ragyo and Soichiro Kiryuin. She was subjected to experimentation by having life fibers infused with humans. Although she was considered a failure by her mother and cast aside, Soichiro rescued his own daughter. And much like Satsuki, Ryuka was also dubbed a failure and tossed aside, but Soichiro secretly rescued her as well. Eventually, at the age of 4, Soichiro presented Satsuki something that he had kept in storage. A special dress that Satsuki found to be the most beautiful thing in the entire world. Its name was Jonketsu, and Jonketsu meant purity in Japanese. Soichiro always viewed his daughter as being pure, and warned her, and even said to her, "This will one day become your wedding dress, my daughter. But I must warn you, for once you have placed it upon you, you will forever become a slave to clothing. And that is one thing I do not wish to see happen to you. You must be wary, for Ragyo has planned to see our world reduced to ashes so that she may one day unleash the end of time itself. You must fight against your mother before she destroys everything and causes the deaths of all life in the entire universe." Satsuki heeded her father's words very cautiously. When she saw what Ragyo was up to, she soon was shocked to see a life fiber womb, and out of its dark depths came a life fiber assassin called Nui Harime. She overheard Ragyo order her young assassin to find Soichiro and terminate him. The first attempt had failed when Ragyo disappeared from the car wreck caused by Nui. Knowing that Soichiro was still alive, Satsuki was aware of what was going on. Ragyo eventually told her daughter to locate other subjects in the formation of a school called Honnouji Academy. Satsuki discovered other forces, including a famed duelist named Sanageyama, who was captain of a kendo club. Satsuki managed to defeat him with great ease, and even was impressed by the duelist's prowess by recruiting him to her cause. She even sought out Nonon Jakuzure, Hoka Inamuta, and Ira Gamagori. All 4 would serve as the Elite Four and Satsuki's right-hand officers. For several years, it had been a difficult life, but Satsuki secretly contributed to Ishin's plans in the formation of the nudist-speech rebellion. She was aware of what Ragyo was up to, and so took it upon herself when Ishin passed her a message saying Ryuku Matoi would have to be trained, and that she must one day be told the truth. That truth would be that both Ragyo and Soichiro were her true parents, and that she was Ryuko's older sister. But she must also note that she must train her in order to battle Ragyo and the life fibers. Eventually, she soon received word that Ishin Matoi was to be assassinated. She soon learned of Nui's plan to storm Ishin's labs and assassinate him. The assassination attempt worked, and Satsuki soon revealed what was going on. She was placed as the head of Honnouji Academy, and even stated a special creed. She stated that fear would become freedom, subjugation would become liberation, and contradiction would become truth. The facts of these worlds would force people to bow down to them or suffer her wrath if she were to draw her sword and cut them down. She regarded all of humanity as nothing more than mere piglets in human clothing. One day, she encountered Ryuko Matoi and ordered one of her boxing club officers to attack her and subdue her. She was aware that Ryuko had retreated and discovered Senketsu, a life fiber-infused kamui that would combat life fibers. The training was very difficult, and Ryuko had a hard time. But Satsuki still secretly carried out Ragyo's plans nonetheless. Eventually, though, after Ryuko defeated some other club members, Satsuki congratulated her and offered her a challenge: defeat her in a duel and have all the information be passed to her. Ryuko accepted. She fought other club members and even went so far as to further her own goals. When Satsuki returned home, she took Jonketsu for herself. Although it was a difficult strain, Satsuki soon ordered her staff members to never question the sparrow about how the eagle soars. Although it was a long and hard plan to don Jonketsu, Satsuki knew she had to fulfill her objectives. She told Ryuko that all answers would come to her in due time. Eventually, though, she announced a tournament. A free-for-all, where Ryuko would battle members of the Elite Four one by one. She witnessed the defeats of Gamagori, Hoka Inomuta, and Nonon's Jakuzure. When the duel between Ryuko and Sanageyama began, the assassin Nui Harime revealed herself. Shocked at what Ryuko was becoming, she tried to subdue her, but thanks to Makoman Kanshoku's involvement, Ryuko was subdued. Eventually, she secretly ordered Nui to destroy Senketsu and take his fragments. Thus, Honnouji Academy began a raid of other schools. When Ryuko collected all the fragments of Senketsu, Satsuki nearly collapsed after calling off the attacks. She returned home and was offered plenty of rest and relaxation by her mother. The day came when Satsuki knew that Ragyo was going to be coming to Honnouji Academy. But when she saw Ragyo attempt to silence everyone and everything, she lashed out and struck back. All the people were freed from Ragyo's clutches, and thus a deadly battle began when Aikiro, Sumugu, Ryuko, and Mako, along with the remainder of the Nudie Speech Rebellion, rushed forward to stop them. But they were too late when Satsuki was defeated and critically wounded. She was shocked and appalled at hearing Ragyo state that she was Ryuko's mother, and that Ryuko was not really a Matoi, but a Kiryuin. Ragyo ordered her mind slaves to take Satsuki prisoner, where she would torture the girl and force her to feed her anger and hatred against the world. But still, Satsuki's will remained strong. After breaking out of prison, she saw Ryuko Matoi forcefully fused with Jonketsu and turned into a mindless killing machine. It took everyone and everything to free Ryuko from Ragyo's enslavement. And eventually, Ryuko received her old scissor blade back. Eventually, Satsuki explained everything and apologized to Ryuko for what she had done, claiming that she was not ready to be a leader. A tear-stricken Satsuki went up to Ryuko and hugged her, and apologized to her again and again, asking for forgiveness. Although Ryuko forgave her, they still had a war to win. The two siblings fought Ragyo and destroyed the primordial life fiber. But eventually they discovered another reason behind it. Despite its destruction, Ragyo still had to fulfill her objectives. The rebel forces charged at Honnouji Academy with everyone and everything that they could muster. They fought Ragyo's mind slaves, and even went so far as to free themselves from the bondage of clothing. Eventually, Satsuki allowed Ryuko to take up the mantle of hero, and thus observed her in combat when Ragyo was defeated. But Rei Homaru, who was driven by vengeance, captured Satsuki and replaced her with a life fiber replication. The replicas were soon defeated, and Satsuki convinced Homaru to give up her evil ways and join the side of good. The decommissioning of Honnouji Academy continued on schedule, and thus Satsuki ordered everyone to pay their final respects to the academy. Thus, as the days went by and the years passed, Satsuki eventually married Sanagayama, and the two of them had children. And although they had passed away, Satsuki knew that her children and her children's children would continue to protect Earth from the jaws of oblivion. Now it's time for this week's question. What other character's life story do you want me to cover in Kill la Kill? For more episodes, make sure to subscribe to me via Total Trekkie, and always be sure to keep up with me on Facebook. So until next time, keep it locked here to Total Trekkie's Kill la Kill lore.